Whether you are a solo filmmaker or working as a DP on high-budget documentaries, understanding how to set up a boom mic for interviews is an invaluable skill. In today's video, I'm going to share why you should start using a boom for your interviews. I'll walk you through my exact gear that I use for my boom setups, and at the end, I will let you in on some simple yet essential boom mic techniques to make sure that you get the best audio possible for your interviews. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Austin Meyer. I'm a documentary filmmaker, National Geographic Explorer, and on this channel I share the field-tested skills, mindsets, and lessons that have helped me on my journey as a documentary filmmaker. My first job out of journalism school was as a video journalist at the LA Times, and from there I was working as a solo filmmaker for National Geographic in sub-Saharan Africa. So I don't come from a filmmaking background where I was working with a lot of gear on controlled sets. For me, it was all about being able to work alone, work fast, and be flexible at any moment to a changing story. And that's why it took me so long to learn how to use boom mic audio, especially during interviews. I couldn't lug around a boom pole. For me, it was all lav mics all the time. And true, there are plenty of scenarios where using a lav mic during interviews is preferred or the only way to go. Like if you are covering a ton of ground on foot during a production, or if your framing for an interview is really wide. But for many circumstances, a boom is a better option. And I wished I'd learned that lesson sooner. So let's start with looking at why you should start using a boom for interviews. The first reason I would begin with, and this goes especially for solo filmmakers out there who are managing video, audio, and asking the interview questions, is that a boom will help you focus more of your energy on actually conducting the interview. I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I have someone wearing a lav mic during an interview, and that's the only audio source I have, I'm always so conscious about any little clothes rustle or static from the lav cable. They can just be so finicky, especially when you're hiding them under an interviewee's clothes. There's so many interviews I've done as a solo shooter where I have half my attention on the interview and half my attention on my headphones, worrying about sound interference or clothes scratching. And even worse, when there has been clothes scratching and I have to pause the interview, go up to the participant, readjust the mic, and it just breaks the entire flow of the interview. But with a boom mic setup, you don't have to worry about any of that, because once you get your mic set up, and you get your levels set, your audio is pretty much rock solid, and you can focus on the good stuff, which is the interview. A boom allows you to be more present as a listener and as an interviewer. The second reason I would suggest you start using a boom for interviews is because you're just gonna get better audio quality than you will from having just a lav mic. And there are a couple reasons for this. First, at the same price point, a boom or a shotgun mic is just going to be nicer than a lav mic. A boom microphone picks up a higher tonal quality and can be paired with more accessories, like more robust windscreens to be used in windy outdoor conditions. The second reason you will get better audio quality is that based on the way we hear frequencies, a boom mic off the subject's body will sound more natural. Think about it this way. When you're having a conversation with someone, are you normally standing a few feet away from them? Or are you right next to them pressing your ear against their rib cage when they talk to you? That's why a boom will often sound more natural. And a third reason that boom mics or shotgun mics will give you better audio during interviews is that they are more directional, picking up the sound more specifically in the direction they're pointing. To illustrate that, let's look at my two main mics, which represent the most common microphone pickup patterns that you will see on pretty much any documentary filmmaking set. First, we have my lav mic, which is the Sanken Cos 11D. Now this lav mic, like most lav mics, is an omnidirectional mic. Omnidirectional mics record audio from every direction, and that is why you don't even need to have your lav mic pointing in the direction of your participant's mouth, because it picks up sound in a 360-degree pattern. This is great because it means that the mic is very forgiving. If your subject turns away from the mic, you will still get solid audio. However, it does mean that lav mics can be noisy, and in controlled interview environments, we may not need the flexibility and forgiveness that an omnidirectional pattern gives us, because we know where the participant will be speaking, where they're going to be sitting, and that's where we have directional mics like the one right above me. So let's bring this mic in frame here. This is my main shotgun or boom mic, and this is the Sennheiser MKH8060. And this mic has a supercardioid polar pattern at low to mid-range frequencies and transitions to a low bar pattern in high frequencies. Both these patterns are very directional. A supercardioid pattern, which would also be found in mics like the Rode VideoMic Pro or Rode NTG3 or the high-end Shep CMIT 5 microphone, gives you the ability to isolate audio while still allowing for a slight margin of error. It focuses mostly on the direction the mic is pointing while also picking up a bit of audio from directly behind the microphone. Now, a low bar pattern is the most directional pickup pattern you can use. It's very directional and only kicks in on my mic in very high frequencies. Again, both types of mics and both types of pickup patterns play an essential role in documentary filmmaking. But if you haven't started to experiment with that directional boom mic during interviews, I really encourage you to give it a try because I think you're going to love the audio quality and the reliability it gives you. So let's head over here to this side of the room and I'm gonna walk you through my two setups that I use for boom pole audio during interviews. All right, I'm losing light in my office, so we came outside to do our demos. The first setup of the two is gonna be the cheaper option. It's gonna be the option if you're just starting to get into the business of using boom poles for your interview audio. This might be a good one to start with. This is going to run you about $225. Pretty much all of that's gonna be on the stand, but it's a very unique stand, and let me show you how I use it, especially on shoots when I'm a solo filmmaker. Can't just lug a ton of weight around. I need to be nimble, I need to be light, I need to be able to move a lot. This is the one that I would use. So this setup starts and ends with this stand right here. This is the Manfrotto 420B Combi boom stand. Links in the description for everything here. This is gonna cost you $200. And the reason it's gonna cost you $200 is because this is no normal stand. You might be looking at this thinking it just looks like a light stand, which yes, it can be used as a light stand like that. You can just put a light right on top, but it can also function as a boom arm. All you have to do is it has this little nifty lever right here. You loosen that up. You pull out the middle section as far as it will go until it clicks. And then you push this little button here on the side and it converts into a boom arm like that. It can go as little as far as you want. It also has another lever here. So this can be a pretty long boom arm as you see. And then you can also raise up or down this boom arm. I got my microphone here, which I would put right into the little mic holder that the mic came with when I purchased it. Then the only other thing you're gonna need is a long XLR cord, which you'll run from that mic to your camera. The most common sizes for XLR cards are about 10 feet and 25 feet, so whatever scenarios you think you'll be filming in. I think I have one that's 10 and one that's 25 because I wanted to get a backup XLR cord, because if I get on set and I'm shooting with one XLR cord and something happens, it's really essential for me to have a backup. For safety's sake, this occasionally, especially if you're using a long boom arm, could get a little unstable. If it's really windy, tough conditions, it does have the potential to fall. So if you don't have a sandbag, one of the cool features of this boom arm is that there's a little bracket on the end where we can hang some weight. Let me show you. See, right there is the bracket where you can hang weight from. And what I will sometimes do is I will bring a little carabiner on set, clip this carabiner, and then just take the backpack, attach the backpack, and there you go. I have a little extra weight if I need that stability. So there you go, that is setup one. If you have your boom mic, that's pretty much all you need is, $225 and you have your setup. You have a stand that you can use, a multi-purpose stand for lights and a boom arm, and then you just need a little XLR cord and you're ready to go. But if you're trying to get advanced, let's go to setup number 2. This one's gonna run you about $450, and this is the setup that I'm gonna use if I'm on a corporate gig, or if I'm on a doc shoot where I know I'm gonna have some PA support. I can carry extra weight, bring more gear. It is sturdier and it is more industry standard. and it's another great option for you. So let me show you. Okay, so the main stand on this setup is a C stand. The one that I'm using is the Impact Turtle Base C stand. It goes for $170. And I didn't know this when I first started buying my first C stands, but if you want a C stand where you can pack it for travel, meaning you want the little legs to all be able to kind of fold like that, this is called a turtle base. So what I'll do is I'll pack that up, get the set, take it out like that, put the big leg towards the talent, and then I'm gonna put this big ol' pull, and then the grip head that came with it, I'm gonna put that on our C-stand. For this setup, the boom pull, this is the K-Tech KE89cc aluminum boom pull with an internal XLR cable. So there's an XLR cable inside of here that will go right to there. But the way that we're gonna put this on our C-stand is with this Ure boom pull, Ure boom pull holder. I'm just gonna find the right size to thread this through. All I gotta do next is just nestle the boom pole into it, and then use these, and you can extend this very far. This boom pole will extend from 2.5 feet to 7 feet and 6 inches. So you can really stretch this. Then for this setup, use the same XLR cords, except instead of running it directly from the back of the mic, on this one, I plug it in to the back of the boom pole where the mic that's running internally will come to, and run that to my camera. And to finish off, this is a little Ure shock mount holder for the mic, and I'll just plug it in like that. So those are my two boom pole setups, different use cases, a little bit different gear, different price points, but very doable, very feasible, and I really encourage you to try it out. Now, couple pro tips for how to get the best audio when you're working with a boom like this. All right, so the first pro tip, I'm sure this has a name. I don't know the name, so I'm gonna call it the dip, okay? And what it is you wanna get your boom mic as close as possible to your talent who's sitting for the interview. So when I'm behind camera, I'll be monitoring the frame, and I'll tell a production assistant or someone else on set to go lower the boom mic until I see it enter that top of the frame. So I'll tell them to go lower it. They start to lower it until it pops into the frame like that. And when I see it, I go, oh, hold, bring it up a little bit, bring it up a little bit, bring it up a little bit, and there. And we're good. And then have that out of frame. The idea is you want to get that mic as close to your talent as possible so you get the cleanest audio. All right, and the other pro tip I want to leave you with is where you are pointing this mic in relationship to your interview subject. You don't want this mic angled right at the mouth, okay? Even I would say not right at the chin. See how that's like right at my mouth here? Now the reason why I wouldn't set up a mic like that is because you want to give flexibility in the interview for your interviewee to move back and forth so they get really into it and they lean forward. If I'm like this and the mic's pointed here, as we went over earlier about how directional these mics are, you're gonna lose pretty much all of the audio. Now this is one reason why, third pro tip here, is that I also will usually have a lav mic on my talent, so I'll do a boom and a lav to be extra careful, extra safe about that type of movement if they move out of the capture pattern of the mic. But just in case there's a lot of movement, what I'll typically do is I'll move the mic a little bit forward, again, just out of frame, and have it pointed more in this area, more in that chest area. And that gives me a little leeway about where my body movement is, keeps it close to me, and also has it pointed at that diaphragm, which is where we create that volume, where we create that resonant tone in our voice. All right, and with that, let me dip my boom mic back down into the frame and let you know that if you liked this video, you may also enjoy my full breakdown of my minimalist gear setup. See you next week. Go out and tell some stories.